So today's objective is to learn kickflip nose slides. I've landed them before, but I haven't learned them. But in the process is where we're gonna talk about what are some things you can keep in mind if you're trying to learn flips into nose slides, or whether it's front or back, same concepts apply. You know, it's slightly different rotations, the directions you're going, but we're gonna talk about concepts you can think about. We're gonna, you know, see the process that, or how I navigate this process, and the goal is to get 10 of them. I've already done 3 before the camera started rolling, so I guess we need 13 in total, 10 more. First things first, if you can't even nose slide comfortably, or front nose, whatever slide you want to do, you got to dial that in a bit more, or else you're going to have so much more frustration creeping in when you can just kind of take a step back, humble yourself, and practice the fundamental of those, one of the fundamentals of accomplishing something like a kickflip or a flip into a nose slide. So we're going to do real quick some nose slides and see first off, you know, if the ledge is skatable comfortably. Do I need more wax? Can I go faster? Do I need to wake up a bit more? And ask those questions. See, so right there, I went to my back. I also did the nose slide with my tail. So this is my tail. So it kind of was already, I was already uncommitted, basically, like mentally. I was like, well, this one's not gonna feel that good. But here we go. Okay. So essentially, some things I'm looking for when I do nose slides, let's push faster, is, am I landing on my forefoot? Do I feel stable in the slide? And do I feel stable from the roll in to the roll away, right? These are some questions I'm asking. Other ones are, am I opening up to the direction I'm going? So because I'm skating this ledge, I can't have my back facing the ledge. I have to slightly open up where I can pretty much face the end of the ledge, right? Right, so you notice there's none of this happening. I'm not from here and then going to the side. No, look at my body, the top half. What I'm not doing is going from the back and then opening up. I am opened up from the top, right? So pretty much the only thing that turns is the bottom half of my body. So that's something super important that you need to keep in mind when I need to also apply when I'm doing a flip nose slide. Because a lot of times there's a lot of this going on where I'm forcing the flick as well as it getting on the ledge when it needs, huh?
I didn't get the flick.
Right, so a lot of us do this where you can't even get a proper flick or pop because you're focused too much on the turn instead of just being opened up so that when you flick, it follows where your body is facing, which is towards the ledge, right? And so super important, and this is why I'm saying get the slide, the fundamental trick you are trying, dialed in first. Make sure you have learned it, right? So I've talked about you landing a trick is not the same thing as you learning one. So make sure you learn a nose slide or whatever slide you're trying to flip into, and you know, feel comfortable with it before you actually apply, you know, improve upon it in a technical manner. So for instance, if I'm doing kickflip nose slide, I also want to be very comfortable getting onto that ledge. So if that's a bit too high, you might want to try to practice stalling on it before you add speed. Choose a smaller ledge, or just even practice the kickflips a bit more, right? So if you don't feel like you can snap your kickflips, right? If your kickflips just roll off the ground or barely get off the ground, it's not going to be enough. You got to be able to get a good snap in a fluid motion, right? If it's too costly to do that, you will still be able to land one, but it's going to be so much harder to have a consistent flip. And that's what you want in order to be able to you know, slowly make iterations and apply it to what you want to learn. So having said that, I'm gonna give it 3 tries and then talk a little bit about what, you know, I'm thinking about as I attempt this. I think I got 1 out of these 3, so we'll see. Make sure, I want you to go like in front of me and kind of, I want you guys to notice how I'm already opened up with the top half of my body and the bottom half just is basically landing where it needs to be, right, to follow my posture. Go. Okay, so I did 1 to fakie. It wasn't what I really wanted. I didn't want to just, thank you, bro. I didn't want to really just have my momentum decide for me. I prefer to have control so that I can come back to regular, but that's fine. That's something you learn, and that's maybe a struggle you're having when you're trying to flip into stuff. You can do it, but it doesn't really feel controlled or stable. And so for those reasons, you want to make sure you're not putting so much effort on the flick. If you're putting a lot of effort on the flick, you're probably fatiguing yourself to the point where this part just needs to follow instead of being able to go from one side and then control your way out, right? So we're focused on control on this next one. Let's go around here. Just follow me. So control, right? If you don't have control with a kickflip or a nose slide, come faster, then you don't want to force this, right? We want to feel fluid in the most fundamental tricks that we're using or utilizing to land a more technical one. So here's attempt number 2. What I'm gonna focus on is kind of giving, have that flip feeling, or what I'm looking for is have that flip feeling a bit more effortless. So not so forced, but more fluid.
Let me get one from right here.
So that one, yeah. So that one, I really feel like I was leaning back already before I even popped. And so something to keep in mind is you want to make sure you're centered over that left side so that you feel stable when you're gonna flick. And also because that's where you're gonna land, right? Left, you're over that left foot. When you land, you want to aim to be centered over that. Sorry, I'm saying left because I'm regular, but that lead foot, whatever that is for you. If you're goofy, you're gonna be with your right as your lead foot, right? So I'll give one more go. Check. I want you to really pay attention to how my body's opened up before I go for the flick, and also how I'm. I guess you can't really see it from this position, but I was gonna say I'm more centered over the left side the whole way instead of going from the back to the front and then back. A lot of skaters make the mistake of doing nose slides where they're heavy on the slide, but then when they come out, they go back to their back foot. That's not what you want to do. You don't want to do this, where you're here, and then you go to your back foot. You want to be from the slide to the lead foot, okay? Okay, so that one, I felt like I was a bit too far from the ledge, and so I felt myself throwing basically throwing my body forward, momentum forward towards the ledge, instead of just jumping and landing back down on. I was jumping towards the ledge right there. So it's a big thing, right? You don't want to jump forward. The speed is what takes you forward, or the momentum is what takes you. Your pop is what has you settling in your weight the way you need to. So here we go. Honestly, I didn't get a good pop there, so that's okay. Another thing, you want to make sure you're taking a breather in between your tries. I want you to follow me. we're gonna get to about 5. I've already done 1 out of 10. We're gonna get 10, okay? I admittedly, I wouldn't, if we weren't recording and had this location to work with, I wouldn't be trying this on this ledge yet. It's a bit kind of too high, so I feel like I'm forcing the flick, but I'm gonna work with it and we're gonna do our best. But generally, I'd pick a ledge that maybe starts where that coping begins, right? So it's okay if you don't see it that well, but it's a little higher than I would have liked. Okay, so I think I figured out, I just realized I wasn't really being engaged with the trick. So hopefully that's gonna help me flick a bit more effortlessly, because I'll have more strength, right, to utilize as I get lower. So here we go.
You didn't reset.
Same thing? No, I did. Same thing. You also, this is very intuitive, that whole reset idea. The breather, you can take the breath as you're pushing. The main thing is you're not trying to like rush yourself, you know? But if you can calmly approach the ledge again, that's fine. One more before I continue talking. There's a lot happening right now for me. Huh? What do you say?
Over your shoulders.
I think he's trolling me. I feel like he's watched this channel. Let me know. Okay. I think I channeled that energy into the trick right now.
That's the coach right there. That's not motivation.
You see? You did. Oh, you do watch this. That was actually the best nose fly I've done. Okay, so that's 2 out of 10. We just landed it. I wouldn't say I've learned it. In the past, I basically lie to myself and pretend like I've landed or I've learned stuff, and I'd get super frustrated when I couldn't be consistent. Once you're consistent with the trick, that really tells you that you've learned it. Now, just like anything, you can forget. So just because you've had it once, just because you've learned it once, it doesn't mean you have it still. So you might need to relearn, right? So that's 2 out of 10. Okay. I leaned a bit too far forward. That's why the board left me. And I think I'm forcing the pop. So I like push myself too. I was too forceful when I popped, and with a mix of leaning a little too far in towards the nose. So I got to make sure I'm centered over this left side, right here, and not over here, right? So we're gonna slow it down a little bit to feel stable. So the first one, that one that slid good, I landed on that back foot. This one I landed on the front one, but it was still very choppy. And so that's something I'm keeping in mind, right? Just because I can land it, it doesn't mean that I don't have any more adjustments or improvement or room for improvement. I have to feel comfortable, you know, basically with iteration, trying it again and just looking for those small tweaks so that I can get it more consistent. So that was the third one. That one went to a crook and then it slid to a crook. So now I'm really figuring that out. Like my body is getting a good feel for what it needs to do, which is on top of opening up, like my friend was mentioning, or reiterate, or what do you say, like saying it again. Damn.
Reiterating?
Not iterating. Basically, he was agreeing to I also had to get low, because if I just open up but there's no engagement, there's very little stability and room for me to leverage a good snap. So I need to get lower so I can leverage a better snap, better flick. Okay, I went too fast there for myself. I'm going too fast. I'm still not comfortable going that speed for this trick. So I need to slow it down right here. It is working though. I feel it. I know there's a lot of suggestions, advice to go faster when you're trying certain tricks, but just because it works for someone else, it doesn't mean it's gonna work for you. And this is where you really have to have that self-awareness and actually be able to answer whether or not you can go faster, right? Me, I would love to do this trick faster, but right now, maybe because I'm not warmed up or I haven't really practiced this trick, I'm just not ready for that yet, and that's fine, right? I'll lead into that and I'll slowly get there. It's a process, right? All right. I've only done 3. Right? My head was somewhere else. That's so crazy. Like, it just flew out. You know what I was thinking about?
What?
I was thinking, so if someone suggested this trick, front nose slides, front flick, front nose and back nose, what if it was him?
Huh.
You know what I mean? That's what I literally just like shout out whoever. That one actually felt like the pop felt really good. Hey, you okay? But I wasn't, I guess I wasn't engaged. I got low, but the tension wasn't held where it needed to be, which is that left side. Reset. Someone told me I need chapstick. I do need chapstick. You guys are so right. On the live.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Feel myself fatiguing. I'm gonna drink some water. I've only done 3, right? Yeah. I've only done 3. Okay, I'm gonna drink some water, reset, put some wax on my board, and keep at it. How much time do we have?
18.
Wait, can you say how much battery it has?
No.
Ooh.
But it'll say 20%.
Oh, that's right. Okay. We're gonna more goes. Wow, I'm barely at 3. After that second one I left. Yeah, bro, right here. Exactly. Yeah, you already know. You learn from the best. I was leaning back. What was that? I know. Well, I didn't realize that's why I never wanted to try nose slides. Because with a crook, I don't have to be so much more.
Intentionally open a bit and then you go right in it.
It could be
Yeah, wow.
with a crook, just
But if you open a little bit, then you just naturally turn back.
exactly.
The equalness to your openness is equal to the...
Listen to this guy. It was like halfway. That's 4. Used to what? Oh yeah, dude, you learn a lot from looking at. Hell yeah. Yeah, they just, it's intuitive for them at that point. Especially someone like Shane O'Neill.
You remember the open, you start doing it
That's 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I just saw. And I was like, wow. You know?
His whole thing is, whenever your flick foot is, you
Yeah.
put all your weight there.
Really?
You're already doing it when you like walk like a fake, right?
No, I.
Put all your weight on your front foot. Now what happens with fake is you're already doing it because you're already balancing.
I
So
disagree.
you're like, you know what I mean?
No, yeah. I mean, I would.
And kickflip, imagine kickflip. You're like, all your weight's on your front foot. You're like,
I disagree.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
You already do it naturally, but like,
Well-
when you nollie flip, do
Alright.
it intentionally.
But
And
you
you're
know,
like, boom.
you know what's interesting about that? Because like when you're doing the kickflip, right? The left one is the front one. Right?
Yeah.
When you're doing the fakie flip, what would you call your front one?
Well, it's your flick foot, but yeah.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
So,
the foot
yeah,
you're
he's-
flicking with, even front heel,
There we go.
fakie, half cab heel, whatever your foot is that's rotating the board,
Yeah.
that's where your weight is distributed. You're not leaning
For sure.
or straight, but the weight is here.
Yeah.
Now with fakie, you do it naturally. Nollie too, kind of, because you're kind of counterbalancing, so then you get that flick. But if you intentionally do it,
Well,
you'll
the way.
see him pop it higher.
Huh.
That was his whole thing.
The-
He was like more weight on your front foot.
Who said that?
Chin on it. He was like, put more weight on your flick
Your
foot.
flick foot. Not
Yeah,
your
whatever flick.
He said-
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Switch heel, same thing. You're like buried in that front foot.
Yeah.
Then your board is following your foot. Your body's following your foot. You know.
Yeah, I
If,
would
you're
just.
if your weight's back and you're leaning,
For
you're just,
sure.
no
Well,
jam.
well, what I thought is like, when you're doing, okay, let's say fakie, right?
Yep.
It's not that your weight is on. So I say stay centered over the front foot, the
That's
lead
your weight.
foot.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But the tension, yeah, you do kind of have to keep it down there,
Yeah.
or else.
Yeah, there you go. You
Or
already do.
else
When you center your body, you're essentially distributing your weight.
Yeah, yeah.
Your back foot is the tension. It's like a 90-10 or 80-20, whatever. You start to
Yeah.
get that balance. You know?
It's basically like you're pushing, but then it like tightens up.
Yeah,
as
and with
you get
nollie,
low.
you can have the natural tendency to go on the front foot because
Exactly.
you're rolling that way. But if you start thinking about, no, I stay straight, but the
Yeah.
weight is here, then when you pop, you're gonna fucking dump it.
Yeah, dude, I would love to have a conversation with like a Shane O'Neill or something.
Oh, they're just like, more like,
Yeah.
more in your front foot.
For sure. All right, right
You
here.
got over here, open it up, open it up.
We're gonna do 5 more. Keep kind of going into crook. I'm gonna count it. Also because it's kind of hot. I don't want the battery. You know what I mean? But that's 6. So a little more. You know what I'm gonna try actually? This foot. Instead of having it so dead center, I'm gonna bring it over here a little more, so it can naturally kind of give the board a little more rotation, a little bit more. Damn, that worked for me. I didn't get a good snap, but it went into the slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw, you heard it too, like that. Okay, that was 7. Shane O'Neill. Oh no, that was not. Oh.
I mean, you can see your weight flow in your There it is.
Oh my goodness. Reset.
Just open up to receive gift.
I guess I needed more time to recover. That was a fluke. I'm leaning a bit too far in. I'm not centered in. And I'm not happy to. Makes sense. I'm a little fatigued. I already knew I was going too fast. Did you kind of think that?
I don't know.
Oh, you did? Okay. I was wondering, like, as soon as I missed, Brian was gonna say, "You're going too fast there." I thought you were gonna say that. Okay, we're still at 7.
25
25 what?
minutes.
Oh, I'm saying 7 tries though.
Yeah. I was about to say,
I got
damn.
distracted.
I know.
But that was.
I thought you were gonna land it.
No. And it's not to say I couldn't land it, but it just definitely doesn't help. Or maybe it does, actually. Probably it gets you thinking a little less hard. As soon as I popped, I was like, no. Alright. So what I'm learning is, on top of being opened up, so that the board follows, like he also explained, I want to be stable when I go down. If I go down and I'm leaning far forward, or I lean back, no go. Doesn't pop right, I fall forward, I slip back. I was skating off the nose. Okay, I'm like mentally rushing myself.
Oh, good one.
Little bro. Straight just, he said no. Well, I'm gonna talk more about what he was talking about later. See, the board rotated the way I needed to, but I leaned back. So what happened there was, when I went down, I didn't hold that tension over the lead foot, which is my left one. I just kind of was lazy about it, and I was probably on the center. I can really feel the fatigue coming in. Yeah, fatigue. Which also brings me to a great point. It doesn't matter how much you know what you need to do, if you can't apply it, whether it's because you're tired, whether it's because you don't have the right setup, whatever it may be, if you're fatigued, or whatever, I just repeated that twice, whatever reason, it doesn't matter what you know. It's not about what you know, it's how you apply it, right? So focus on whether or not you can apply what I'm showing you, suggesting, and what we're talking about. Okay. For instance, it doesn't matter if someone tells you, oh, you need to go faster. If you can't apply that because you feel really uncomfortable with that speed, don't rush yourself to it. Don't force it. It has to feel, when it's applied, it has to feel a bit more fluid, right? Maybe the first, second, third time, it's still gonna feel very iffy. You know, you might feel nervous, but if you're still very fearful after 10 attempts because you're going fast, that's not the business, right? Think about someone like Chris Joslin skating El Toro. He was sure it was a lot of impact, sure he wanted to get it done quick, but he had no I would say this, he didn't feel frozen with you know, with those attempts. He looked very fluid. So you want to feel that way. There could be fear, but it can't get you frozen or stuck. When I landed, I was not engaged. And so I'm thinking, am I that tired, or am I just forgetting to apply it? All right? So we're gonna see again. If that continues to happen, I'm just gonna end up doing stalls, right? I'm not trying to force this. That was the best one I've done. Huh.
Solid, yeah.
I felt like I was sliding through the forefoot. The board followed the way my body was positioned, and I had that control to reel it back from the front, not from the back, right? A lot of people go back down by swinging their weight. You got to just transfer the weight or keep the weight on that front foot. Hop from one foot to the other, right? You slide, and you do a little nudge off, a little jump off, a little hop off. Okay, right here. That was 8. I'm leaning in. I leaned in there. If you get stuck like that, it's either you don't have wax, if there's no wax on the ledge, or you're leaning too far in. I clearly already slided, some of them, 7 of them or 8 of them. So it tells me I'm leaning forward, right? I can't blame the ledge and say, oh, it's sticky when I've already done it. Good one, right? I need to make sure I'm on the forefoot, not on the heel when I land. I still landed on the heel too. Or my board, my forefoot was on the nose like this, but my heel put the weight on the ledge as well. So I hit it with the heel. So I gotta make sure I'm just landing very softly on that forefoot. We need 2 more, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. 1 more.
Let me get this one from like the side.
Okay.
Or like right here.
Got you. On the back foot right there. Okay. So still a lot of work to do. I would say I'm at like 70% learning this trick. And so it feels good. Definitely good. What I want you to get out of this video is understanding that there's a lot of applications, concepts you need to apply. But if you feel really uncomfortable with those concepts, you got to work on them with just 180s, right? Opening up. Oh my God. Look, open up. You see how I just ollie and I'm easily able to turn the board because of my body, the way it's opened up. If I'm closed off and I ollie, I have to be a bit more intentional about shifting the board. When I'm doing a kickflip nose slide, I don't want to shift it. I just want to go into position, right? Once you have control and pretty much mastered this, you can definitely learn it with different techniques. But for the most part, you want to understand fundamental concepts such as opening up towards the obstacle you're skating, making sure you're engaged on the forefoot so that you can stabilize. A lot of us try to learn slides where we get onto the obstacle and we heel drag, right? You might get away with it, but let's say it's not efficient or effective because let's say you want to progress that trick into something like this, right? It's kind of extreme, but let's say you want to do this. If you flip, heel drag, you might risk a lot, right? You can't really heel drag here. You're gonna slip back. And so this is what I'm talking about, or this is an example of why I'm referring to these things when they're not applied as inefficient and unfavorable, right? Because it's hard to translate or transfer the applications from one obstacle to the other if you're not, very stable over your forefoot stabilizing with your forefoot, centered over that lead foot, and engaged, opened up towards the obstacle, and concepts like that. Question.
What if someone says, well, I just keep dragging my heel on the ledge,
Yeah.
and when it comes to a rail, I'll just change it up?
Yeah, if you are okay with doing it on the more basic one, you're pretty much getting lazy. But with that laziness comes habits that you're building, whether you like it or not. And so you might start to think about, okay, here I can't heel drag, but it's gonna be so much more difficult to to rewire your brain so that you can land on your forefoot. Habit is going to be applied if you get into like a fight or flight state where you're just relying on pure instinct. And so when that situation occurs, or when you find yourself in that under that circumstance where you're in a fight or flight kind of state, right, or a flow state, you're just going to be relying on instinct.
Yeah, you can only be conscious for so long.
Yeah, you can only be conscious for so long, and in those cases, you don't want to be thinking you have control over that switch up, right? You're going to resort to habits, and that's why when you're learning it on an easier obstacle, you want to be intentional, right? And don't rely on habits, because just because they're habits, just because you gravitate to it doesn't mean it's gonna work for you, right? Something more intentional, where it's more thought out, like these concepts, are definitely gonna work in your favor if you actually go through the process of having them wired into your movement, right, into your skating. So having said that, I was hyped on this video experience. Shout out to I forgot his username. Shout out to the homie who suggested it on a live. I was on a live this morning. He suggested it, so I did that. I'm going to be offering memberships very soon, within the next week. So leave in the comments what you would like to see in those memberships. It's going to be 3 tiers likely, and yeah, I'm all ears. Other than that, hope you have a great day. Don't force your skating, have it flow, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.